Hello, everybody. I wonder, is it working? I can't quite tell if it is or not. Hopefully, people will be able to hear me. This is yeah, okay, I guess it's working. Well, this is extremely random, and I don't know how many people are going to be watching this. I just find myself kind of full of energy at the moment, and I wanted to do a Q&A. I might do another video too, because I realized the other day, I think I knew this a couple months going in, that I have actually been, I guess, sort of on YouTube for about 10 years now. This channel I created, I think, June 2nd, 2010. So this channel is technically 10 years old. I've had a YouTube presence, though. I haven't actually, I didn't initially start out making videos. I think I had the channel for about a year or two, this one, before I made anything. I had a couple other ones that I made a couple videos on. Mostly it was like early music stuff, me just kind of messing around with my bass and some people I was jamming with at the time. And a couple early videos of me just, with the camera, click and record and talking for a few minutes awkwardly about some comics I liked and kind of rediscovering Dragon Ball. And there are a couple other related channels I started and I couldn't get into because I forgot the password or email to. So technically though, I've probably been on YouTube for about 10 years. And this channel, I think I started doing videos on probably, yeah, like tail end of 2011 into 2012 is kind of when I started to do them, and it was more like kind of initially started because of my interest in Dragon Ball and wanting to look at Dragon Ball a little more analytically, I guess, looking at the characters specifically. I was like, what is it about these characters that I like so much? What is it about the series I like so much? Maybe at the time feeling a little insecure because there was a brief period of time where I think a lot of people kind of shot down Dragon Ball Z. Like I remember growing up, it was obviously very popular, but there were some people, some kids that thought it was stupid. And then I remember even as I kind of got more exposed to anime when I got to high school and beyond, even among my friends, the couple that I had that really weren't anime, there was kind of like, you know how it is, there was kind of like this elitist almost mentality of like, there's this good quality stuff that's on another level. And a lot of the stuff that's really shown in battle series got lumped into kind of like Dragon Ball Z. And I remember for a while, I was like, oh man, it's kind of dumb. But I feel like that didn't last very long because now obviously Dragon Balls are, about as popular as it's ever been. And there's like a much greater appreciation for it in the pop culture. At the very least, it's much more recognized in the mainstream than it's ever been. But yeah, I kind of figured I could do a random Q&A. Maybe this isn't the best time for it. I might do another one. I'm kind of probably going to be doing more live streams since I have a little more time. But other people, feel free to share it, spread it around if you like. But even if people don't jump in, this is kind of cool because I guess it'll just kind of be a live podcast sort of. I want to kind of go over like sort of the history of my channel and the stuff that I've primarily focused on, gravitated to, what my content for the channel has been, and sort of where I am now. And like I said, I'll probably do a more scripted, edited, proper video like this because I just think I'd like to. But this might sort of be like a part one preliminary. But yeah, the beginning of it was really just Dragon Ball character analysis, and I have a bunch of those from back in the day, like I said, 2012. Most of the kids, what I mostly did was just Dragon Ball Z character stuff, which some of them got taken down because I tried to use footage for most of those, and they did get taken down. I believe I have to I sometimes I meticulously look through a lot of my videos and see, and I remember a couple of them are still up. My Vegeta video is up there. Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, of course, though I redid him a couple years ago, and I like that second video better. Though he was the first one I ever did, so that was my first official video for the channel with what it essentially was going to be initially was my crappy little Krillin character analysis where man I'll actually that's a great little memory that's I'm not the most consistent about things, but I will look at how I've come in terms of video creation, editing, and recording. It's like I know it's not always the best, but man, just I think I initially recorded it on like a little camcorder because I didn't have a mic, so it was this cheap camcorder with really crappy audio. Uh, And I was using Windows Movie Maker, which I used for years afterwards. I didn't use a really good editing software until like a couple years ago. As I got Premiere like 2 or 3 years ago, finally. But up till then, I used Movie Maker mostly, which I guess was kind of like terrible from some people's perspective. But it worked for me mostly. But I just did a little slideshows, and man, I remember I spent hours slaving over it because I didn't know how to use it. I never used Movie Maker before, so that Krillin video, that like 3-minute vid or whatever, took me hours to do to figure out because I that was literally my first exposure to any editing software and a movie maker. So even though it wasn't perfect, it was like I probably should have, obviously practiced beforehand. So it's a problem I run into my trying to, do things too quickly. I got so frustrated. I remember I took so much energy out of it. I was so mad making that little video. And it turned out okay, I think, considering I had no idea what I was doing. But even in like my annotations of how I wrote my little script and my voice, my confidence about what I'm talking about, like, Krillin, I think he's a good character. Like, it's like even my I don't know. I guess the presence has grown or changed. I've gotten more used to it, more confident, better at it, I suppose. It's funny. Like you look at that early video. I think I had some other videos talking about a couple anime series like Basilisk was one, and I think Samurai 7, where I was just driving back home from college. And that's kind of where a lot of those thoughts evolved. I had like a drive from school to home, which was like a 45-minute drive. And so I'd just have all these thoughts about Dragon Ball and stuff, and I'd record a couple. So that was that. Thank you for the like. Please feel free to share it. I'll check out the comments here in a second. Send in your questions, but I'm just kind of going through the history of things at the moment, sort of a little retrospective for the channel. There might be another video, but welcome people watching. Feel free to send in questions about stuff. I will get to them in a few minutes. Just kind of looking through. I've got my little. I don't know how long this is going to go on my rant about the stuff, but let's see. Yeah, obviously, a little after that, I met Anime Hero. We started talking. We kind of discovered each other's videos before we really knew who we were, and then found each other like many months later. It was weird. I remember finding he was partially my inspiration because my big inspiration, I guess, were a couple people over at what was Channel Awesome, Nostalgia Critic, Brad Jones, also like Renegade Cut. He was really good up there, and Brows Held High, Owen Citizen, a couple of those people. I really liked a lot of their stuff. So not so much the comedic skit stuff, but more just like the analytical film review. That was my inspiration, but also the Anime Hero, because he was the only other person I saw that was looking at the Dragon Ball movies, Dragon Ball Z movies, and taking it kind of seriously, and also having a bit of humor. And I thought they were well edited. I mean, he'd probably say they weren't that good back in the day, but I remember finding his videos like probably like a year before I did mine, or 6 months or something, and on this little Roku thing on YouTube. And so I didn't know the name of his channel. I'm like, these are some really good Dragon Ball Z movie reviews. And then I forgot about him. And then, oh yeah, he found my stuff. I'm like, oh yeah. And we found out years later, oh yeah, you were that guy. And so it was weird. It was a weird little interesting moment. But yeah, he and I kind of had our first couple awkward Skype calls and became friends, our love of anime and other stuff. And then he kind of got me into the Green Clan, which became the Phantom Group, and I met a lot of those people. So that helped. And he kind of also recommended Hunter x Hunter to me, which I really liked that show. That was kind of coming at a time when I was starting to get more into anime again and kind of discover old classics and rediscover old things. I remember I was going through kind of a rough time around that point, and so Hunter x Hunter really kind of helped me with that in a weird way. I've kind of always thought about making a video about it, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how personal I'd get with that, but like, it came at a time where I really appreciated Hunter x Hunter, and I think that's one reason why it made me feel good to watch it. In all honesty, and it's funny. I actually, even though I'd seen a little Hakusho, Hunter x Hunter Hero Reckon Me, the '99 version, which I love for the soundtrack, among other things. And then I actually watched Hakusho right after that, and I fell in love with Hakusho, and I debate sometimes which show I like more. I think obviously Hakusho is complete, but I don't know. I think if Hunter x Hunter ever gets complete, it might be really cool. But then, of course, some other classic ones. I did some Berserk character analysis, like Berserk quite as well. Though I feel like I've done I mean, I could probably redo and explore themes and stuff, but I mean, I've done Guts, Griffith, and Casca, which, let's be honest, those are the main characters to talk about. So I feel like as far as character analysis, I've always kind of felt like I don't know how many other videos I could do that I feel like want to do about Berserk. So I'm like, I want to do more, but I don't know. And also, Fullmetal Alchemist is, one of, if not my favorite anime series. Everybody kind of knows this. But yeah, and I have plenty of Fullmetal Alchemist videos on the channel, but I know there's a lot of character analysis and thematic videos and stuff. And I have this idea for a podcast. I want to do well, this is the problem. This is the problem I run into, guys. Is like I have this idea in my head, and I know you shouldn't be perfectionist, but I sometimes am. And I'm like, I want to if I care about a show or I care about anything, and I want to talk about it, I want to try and present it the best way I can in like reference to that, So I'm like, okay, should I do like this really well edited, scripted video episode by episode of 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist and or Brotherhood? Or should I do like a watch along thing where I just kind of watch and react to it? Or should I do a podcast talking about it? And I'm like, I can never decide. Like I want to do an episode by episode breakdown going through the 2003 show. That's one of my goals, podcast or video series. I don't know, but like I want to make that happen. I just want to make it good. And that's something I want to try and do. But it's like I feel like that's kind of a very momentous, focused task that I probably should just do it, but not worry so much about the details. But that's one of those things that I want to do. But there's still plenty of character analysis videos and stuff, and other thematic discussion videos I could do for that. So it's like Fullmetal Alchemist has a good presence on the channel, but I could talk about it more. I think whatever you guys think. Feel free to let me know suggestions for ideas of videos you'd like to see too, because that's also another thing. Also realized. What was it? Bleach. I've talked about Bleach quite a few times on here in my playlist. I know that Bleach has its own section, which is like, it's not really one of my favorite anime series. Like I kind of liked it really briefly back in the day, but I feel like all the videos I've ever made are about like how disappointed I am because I say the same thing over and over again about some of these things. Like, yeah, I like Bleach early on. I just feel like whatever. But I've talked about Bleach a decent amount too on here. Also, another thing about my channel that's kind of evolved is I'm a big movie fan. Obviously, like I talk about a lot of movies, just not just science fiction and fantasy and horror. Those are, I guess, my primary interest. But I just love film in general, like drama, action movies, comedies, whatever. I'm a big movie buff. It's probably the form of entertainment or art that I care about the most. But I guess that hasn't been the focus of the channel, except lately I've been doing the Jolo's movies things, but we'll get into that later. Welcome new people, doing a Q&A. Feel free to send in your questions, share the video. Right now I'm kind of going through like a history of the channel because I realized, hey, it's 10 years. So let's see. Also, early on after that, I kind of doing some of the character analysis videos. Some of my buddies on here, you guys know Troll, Gimli, Tiefling. There's a bunch of other people, bases. Everybody's got to mention them all now. Dickie, Nick, Dapper the Sly. Am I forgetting anybody? Hope not. I'm kind of drawing a blank, but those are the primary people, I think. Oh, Wheeler the Healer, and a bunch of other people kind of came on and just did sort of like these random videos where we just would review movies after we saw them in the theater, pretty standard. Usually it was like big pop culture, nerdy things like the Marvel movies, like the MCU stuff, DC, sometimes Lord of the Rings, Star Trek, Star Wars, stuff like that. But also sometimes I do random other movie reviews. You know how that goes. Yeah, so that was kind of a thing that I did, and that's sort of been inconsistent, but I've done some of those. But I've kind of been refining that. Then I started doing a lot more podcasts with my friends for a while, the Merlin Cast, where we talk about nerdy discussions and geek culture things, and those kind of go on sometimes. I also had my friends Dan and Justin. We did Film Fanatics for a couple years. That was a really cool experience, and they pop up on the channel here and there. I've been doing some videos with Dan over on his channel. He likes to talk about TV a lot, and one of my favorite sitcoms is Frasier, like his. So we're wrapping up our Frasier thing, and I think we're going to do Freaks and Geeks next. I also pop in on Dan Does Disney, so going over the classic Disney animated. So I'm going to be doing some of those. We talked about some of the early ones, so still doing stuff with them. Also, I've had kind of a passion for tabletop RPGs, and I've put up a couple of my friends' games on here randomly. Also, obviously, a big comic book fan. I think that other than anime and manga analysis discussions. I feel like people, for a long time anyway, kind of thought of my channel as like sort of like in the anime community, at least the circle I was running with. I was sort of the comic book guy because I knew more about comics than anybody else, and I am a pretty big fan. I guess I'm more of a DC guy, but I'm also really love Spider-Man and X-Men, a lot. So it's like Spider-Man, especially. Obviously, I guess that's sometimes I don't even think about what I'm wearing. But yeah, I think this is a shirt that my buddy Troll gave me. I think it's for Spider-Man Homecoming a couple years ago. So great movie, great game recently, and yeah. So I mean, I still feel like I could do a lot of comic book stuff, and I was initially thinking about like doing intros to comics and character analysis stuff, and I think I still could, but I feel like there's a lot of channels that probably already established that probably do it better than I have, and so that's kind of where I felt like I've run into with a lot of other things. And starting a couple years ago, I because I'm such a big film fan, I actually decided what the heck, I'd try to do a couple movies of my own, bunch of like no budget things with my friends. Kind of started like a little trilogy of like these horror surreal things. So yeah, there's a couple on there: Sacrifice, Bad Places, and most recently Demon Chair, which is kind of like a mockumentary thing. Very strange concept, but yeah, they're kind of rough. But I liked making them, and I kind of want to make more films. It's kind of like one of my dreams. I'm kind of bouncing around with a lot of things lately. Like I'm still, because of everything that's been going on, and I guess being home more, I've actually had a lot more time lately to produce videos, and I've been trying to get requests from people. Like a lot of the random movie requests, and I think the one request for what was it? The Shazam I finally saw, like that was a request. So getting requests from my subscribers definitely helps. I kind of wanted to make it a Patreon thing, but it's no big deal. I think I just like having. It would be cool if I got that kind of support, but I don't really absolutely need it right now. I think it would be cool to get it. Like I'm thinking if I actually want to do another film because I'm hoping to do a film that I can put some money in, and I'll put some of my own money into it eventually. I want to do this werewolf film, but I might do a Kickstarter or something because I'm like I'd like to see if I get some help with that. But that's something down the line. I've been doing more writing. I got a bunch of short stories. I recently finished the first draft of my fantasy novel. I got to go through it, and I think I'll put that out on Kindle or something, maybe late summer and this fall. So if you guys are interested in that, I'll probably have a video up here about that when I'm closer to having that released. Yeah, so I mean, I've got a bunch of projects. I'm in class again. I'm thinking about getting an education. So I've been busy all around with everything going on, but still, I've been finding more time to do videos. And oh, that's right. And I guess most recently, I'm just doing stuff more focused on film lately. Is I've been doing the Joe Loves Movies, which is just going over my personal favorite movies and doing little videos, kind of honoring them. And I've been putting a poll up in the uh, commentary section in the channel. So basically, I pick from a list of my favorite movies and have you guys vote on the ones you want to see. So whoever votes in, I will get those movies in first. But usually, I try to get to everything on the list. Next one's RoboCop. So recently did a video with Walking Double O Dead and Anime Hero, going and doing a commentary on the movie on the Phantom Group channel. So please check that out. So I'll probably get a RoboCop video. I've also got a couple obscure movies. The next movie I've been requested by Troll was this movie Dark Harvest, some like cheesy horror movie I've never heard of. So there'll be a video about that coming up soon. And I think I've got a request to do the movie Evolution. Gimli's brother, Evan, requested that one. So that's got David Duchovny from X-Files in it. Never heard of it, but I mean, I've heard of it, but I never saw it. I think it's on Netflix or something. So that's one. I think Iron Sky 2 I've been requested to review. I got a video about Samurai Jack or two I might do because I just rewatched all that recently. That was a request from one of my subscribers. And I think Castlevania I'm going to finally watch. I might also do some videos on The Witcher. So as you can see, I'm already all over the place. But yeah, between Joe's movies and Flamethrowers and Cinema, those are like the two main videos I'm doing, primarily film based, but I am still taking requests. And like I said, sometimes I feel like it, like I have this interest in getting to some other anime series or reading some comic book stuff, and I feel like doing a video on it, I will. But if it's not related to the Joe Loves Movies or Flamethrowers and Cinema or just the podcast, I mean, what if you guys send in requests, like literally, if there is a video or content for this channel you would like to continue seeing, the direction you'd like to see it go, feedback's what I would like. Seriously, like what do you like about the channel? What don't you like? Seriously, like the types of videos, like podcasts, live streams like this, my scripted analysis videos, my retrospectives on movies, like whatever. I mean, I think sometimes I hear people say, we just love whatever content you give us. We're happy with that. I think somebody said that one of these last streams. Like, that's nice. And I've got the feeling that the people that still watch these things consistently probably still feel that way. But sometimes there's a lot of silence. I think that I was talking to Zorro and a couple other people. I've been trying to get a lot of the Phantom Group people on podcasts again. I just talked with Von the Stampede, had him on. So hoping to reconnect with some of those people, promote their channels and stuff. But yeah, like that's the biggest thing for me. I think that's frustration is like, I know that's the algorithm. Like, if you're not making videos that people are interested in, or you're not consistent about it, like I haven't always been with my type of content, because I want to talk about so many different things. It's like if I wanted to brand myself, I guess it's been a struggle because like I got all these subscribers and I'm like, I don't know how many of them are active because they're busy with life. But then I see like, I'm not getting that many views on my videos. So I'm like, okay, not many of my subscribers care, but I think because people aren't hitting the notification bell, maybe they're not even seeing the videos. Maybe they would be interested in what I'm doing, but because I'm not talking about anime as much, maybe they're not. I don't know. So, but then I make these bunch of these little videos like I have been lately, and they've been getting consistent comments and likes, and like 20 or 30 people, probably some of the people in the stream seem to like them. So it's like I like getting that feedback and knowing that somebody likes my stuff. It's just a little weird to see like I got thousands of subscribers that most of them aren't watching my videos. And sometimes that gets frustrating. And I'm like, but that's when you got to say heck with it. I'm doing it for me. Like if I enjoy making videos and I want to improve my editing, like that's what I like. So my view, not that my views have typically ever been gigantic, but like they care more about retention, which makes sense anyway. Like people actually watch the thing to the end and like what they're seeing. Like I want to make stuff that's interesting or entertaining for you guys or connect with you guys on some way, like with what I make, right? That's the point. And the whole thing was originally self-expression when I started years ago. Like when I started the channel years ago, I know I'm just ranting now, people. I promise I'll get into the questions. I see them in their background, but I'm doing the history of the channel thing. So I see likes, so I guess you're liking it. So spread it around. This is a big deal that I'm randomly doing and didn't plan for. So classic Merlin, right? So random. But anyway, like when I started the channel, I was just in college and I was thinking a lot about Dragon Ball and random anime stuff. I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about it. I'm like, you know what? I like some of these YouTubers. I'm gonna make some random videos about stuff, Dragon Ball character analysis or whatever, right? And met some people and connected and had some fun. And it's like now it's like kind of a thing. And man, it's been like it's been years I've been doing this. And then like I got frustrated sometimes when I didn't get quite as big or hit certain numbers, or when people didn't like certain videos that weren't anime related, I would get like, man, people don't care about what I have to say. And I get seriously, sometimes, you get kind of you get frustrated with the process, but then you got to remember, like, that's why I said lately, heck with it. I'm going to do the videos I like about the stuff I like and try to make them the best I can. And if people like them, great. And if people don't, well, they'll come back for the other ones they like. But seriously, guys, like the video, spread around, and give me feedback. What types of things you want to see on the channel? How do you feel about it's been? How many years you've been watching? Do you like the direction it's gone? What are some things you'd like to see? Types of videos, specific requests. I'll keep track of them. It helps me keep me focused because I see a couple people like send them requests and I'm like, hey, that's cool. But yeah, that's kind of where I am now. So I've just been doing the JoLo's movies, Flamethrowers in Cinema. I think I got another one coming up, some movie requests, and I've got, like I said, some other anime and other stuff kind of vaguely in the works. But yeah, then I randomly decided to do this. So yeah, I'm going to start answering questions now because I did say it was a Q&A. So thank you for being patient, everybody. You can start sending in questions now. I just did the little history retrospective on my channel. I'm sure stuff will come up as I'm going through it. But yeah, I'm going to do another video going over things more maybe. But okay. Anyway, so let's start with the questions. Thank you for being patient. Okay. Kenny Ulysses, the great literary figure. Confusing book, by the way. Better fighter, Goku or Vegeta? 1 point. Did you see Gohan no longer being the main focus in the Buu arc? Fighter. I guess canonically speaking, Goku's the better fighter, right? Because he's the main character. He's the protagonist. He's adept. He's the best, right? So I want to say Goku is the more skilled fighter because okay, remember Vegeta, The interesting thing about Vegeta is Vegeta was a lot like Frieza. Okay, he was a lot like Frieza in a lot of ways. Clearly not as powerful in the beginning, but see, one thing that was interesting about Frieza, which they kind of hinted at, I believe, early on, but they established in the Golden Frieza arc, that great movie, Resurrection F. Frieza was born with that raw power, that incredible power, that strength. He didn't have to train for it to build up his ki or whatever. Goku had great strength, and a lot of the other characters did, but they had to work for it. Frieza didn't. Vegeta was a Saiyan, so he had great strength and he did train, but he didn't have to work as hard because he was born as an elite, which kind of makes the whole weird Saiyan gene thing sort of strange, if you ask me, because it's like, okay, certain Saiyans are born at certain class levels, but then you got Goku, who's lower class, and then he was clearly the most powerful Saiyan, although they were all wiped out. Like, what situation did all the combat that all these Saiyans got into? They never had ways to elevate their power. Remember, they dropped that rule: you get injured, you recover, you become more powerful. So Vegeta, I think, had the more natural raw strength, and he had that boost. I guess it's like he had a head start, but I think this is a really long-winded answer. These are they're all going to be, but I think Goku is technically the better fighter. Um, Gohan no longer being the main focus of the Buu arc. Confession, you know, I'm trying to come around on the Buu arc and sort of appreciate it. I think I need to go back and rewatch some of the stuff again because I used to hate on the Buu arc, and I still think in all of Dragon Ball, at least Dragon Ball Z, that section, I feel like it's probably the weakest arc. It's my least favorite, even though I think Buu has interesting aspects as a villain, and there were important, cool things that did happen in that arc, obviously with Vegeta and whatnot. Um, I think that I always kind of liked this, and I think Saiyan Z3 might have. I think he's always been a bigger proponent of the Buu saga, and he didn't. I don't know if he wanted Gohan to be. I want to get him on a podcast too, but he didn't really see Gohan being the main character because Goku always was. I know Goku has always been the main character, but the biggest issue with Goku's character, especially in Super, I mean, is like that he hasn't changed, he hasn't grown, he hasn't learned from his mistakes. Like I recently I watched like a random episode of Old School Dragon Ball right after he beat King Piccolo, and you know what? It's charming. Like it's really charming seeing Goku as a kid. Like it makes sense for him to be the way he is there, but he's still kind of the same way as an adult. And you see him kind of grow in like those moments when he realizes Gohan's not like him. He's not a fighter. He doesn't live for the thrill of it. He's not the same person. Like that is one of the best moments for Goku's character is right when Piccolo's like telling him how it is, essentially. But when you get to the like, I like that because in my view, I mean, maybe this isn't canonically the writer's intent with the manga and everything. I understand that, but my perspective growing up with it as a kid, you know, loving Dragon Ball Z so much as I did. Like, I know I try to be analytical about it and I try to look at it from the perspective I have now. And I think it's important to do that. But let's be honest, I loved it as a kid. And, you know, the part of the channel, the reason I started the channel was kind of exploring like, was I wrong in liking it? And why do I like it? You know, what's still good about it even to this day? What keeps people coming back to it? And as opposed to some shows they might watch as kids and they don't. And I think for me, growing up as a kid, I was not much older than Gohan when he started, as a lot of you probably watching more. And seeing his growth and struggle and wanting to do the right thing, even though he was afraid and even though he wasn't naturally as good at some things, but he also had there was always that tease, you know, Gohan has got that hidden power. He could be more powerful than anybody with those bursts of rage, which were always awesome, right? When he had that first encounter with Raditz, like they set that little bit of foreshadowing. And it was kind of the journey, one of the journeys of the series is watching Gohan grow and seeing, ooh, like where is this going to lead? And it led to the Buu saga. And you know what? I've come around a little on Saiyaman. I think it's corny, but it means Gohan kind of in his heart wanted to be a superhero. He wanted to balance with great power comes great responsibility, be a superhero, but also he wanted to study. He wanted to be a scholar. He wanted to be a part of society that way. And that was perfectly fine too. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was true to his character that he naturally wanted to do that. So I guess some people could say, okay, him naturally not being the main hero at the end fighting Buu and Goku having to step in, I could see that being okay. So it's like Gohan took the reins and he had to be the hero. I think that would have been awesome. But would it have been true to his character? I think that's the difficult thing. I think that's why, and I have mixed feelings about it because I wanted to see like I see Dragon Ball Z that section. It literally is the growth of Gohan, But maybe sometimes the growth of Gohan, which maybe is a subversion of shonen tropes in a way, is that you're not always going to be the super powerful guy, and that because that's so predictable. Like, so okay, Gohan grew as a person and he proved himself, but he wasn't the star of the show. And so it's like it's difficult. And I think a lot of Gohan fans are frustrated by that. And believe me, when he had the big power up with his mystic power and he was stomping Boo's ass, excuse me, like if it's just been a beatdown, I know okay, it shouldn't have been a one-sided beatdown, but that was awesome. Like it could have ended there. I would have been fine with it. But Gohan kind of had his moment with Cell. He had that great moment with Cell. You didn't have to top that moment. So Goku having to come back one more time to save the day, it's fine. It's fine. Maybe a little disappointing, but you know what? Maybe it makes more sense for Gohan's character. It does. So maybe it's not like the coolest thing, but it's kind of the smarter thing, maybe the bolder thing. Maybe, to be honest. So I guess I didn't see the main focus shifting. I didn't like it at first, but I've kind of come around on it a little bit. Any Hunter x Hunter bits? I did a couple Hunter x Hunter character analysis videos years ago. I did one on Hisoka. I did one on Gon. I pretty much the main four: Gon, Killua, Kurapika, Leorio. I think one or two of them might have gotten taken down. I uploaded a couple to my website because originally I wanted to put videos up with footage because I thought people were interested, but then I think some of it got taken down because I changed my level on my website. So I think there's some links to some videos on the site that aren't up there anymore. So probably some Hunter x Hunter videos have to be redone. I probably could go back and do some though, if you're interested. What are some Hunter x Hunter videos you'd like to see? I'd have to. That's the thing. There's a bunch of old anime series that I probably would have to watch again, and there's some other ones I haven't seen. Kind of like video games. I've been playing more video games like the Elder Scrolls games. I've been really getting into Oblivion and Skyrim. Like I'm actually playing them through like whole quests now. So that's one thing I've been doing. I've been getting more into gaming, like to prepare for the Castlevania vids. I actually been playing a lot of these old Castlevania vids for NES and SNES and Sega, like on this emulator. They're hard and they're fun though. So I've been gaming a lot too. So yeah, but I probably need to go back and watch Hunter x Hunter a little bit again and then see if I could come up with some video ideas for it. But there are some on the channel. If there are some you'd like to see, let me know. Anime I'm planning on watching. Right now, my girlfriend, I'm actually watching Fruits Basket. I'm watching the new one, and she introduced me to the original one. I never saw the original, and I kind of really been liking it. I know it's not like the typical thing I talk about on my channel, but this Fruits Basket has been really good. I'm looking forward to. I'm still kind of a little behind on My Hero Academia. I need to get caught up on the anime. There's a couple I want to kind of watch again. Like I said, Guyver is one I want to watch again. There's also Record of Lotus War as a classic I've never seen. I want to check out. Latest DC animated movie I've checked out. Man, that was actually it was the Hush movie. Yeah, I watched that one. So I guess that came out like what last year or something. I watched that, and the thing about that one is I love the Hush graphic novel, right? But the thing about the movie that frustrated me was that it was really good. It was really good. It was very close to the graphic novel, but it did that thing where it's like it was so closely related that it almost didn't need to exist. And then they did something at the end. They changed the ending. They added a twist to the ending, which I kind of didn't like. So mostly I liked it. I think that there's Red Sun came out recently. I like that comic, but I haven't checked out that yet. And I think another one came out recently. I think the DC animated movies I've been more mixed about because I didn't like a lot of the New 52 stuff. And a lot of those movies are based more on like the Flashpoint and stuff. I don't like those as much. I kind of prefer the timeline before that, which I think is sort of a return to form, but yeah. Let's see. No analysis on Kite yet. I feel Kurapika's journey may end badly. Why do you think that? Probably because of the chain, right? Because if I remember correctly, he didn't he have like he cheated with his Nen ability so that he could he could basically destroy the Phantom Group people, but I mean Phantom Troop people. Excuse me, Phantom Group is my collab group. The Phantom Troop people, but he was like kind of useless anywhere else. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it won't end badly, but it might end tragically. Adam Green, what's up, man? Adam A. Green, the founder of the Green Clan himself, man. Man, it's been a long time, dude. Um, what are some films that aren't sci-fi or comic related you would recommend? Oh, man, that's a good question. Let's see. Some of my favorites, older ones. Let's see. Uh, Little Miss Sunshine. Fargo is really good. Also, some classics like Shawshank Redemption's good. I love The Godfather. Like I said, RoboCop. Pretty much anything I put up on Jolo's movies is up there. Aren't sci-fi. Those are. I think everything I said wasn't sci-fi. A Grand Budapest Hotel is really good. You think I'm drawing a blank here? The Departed, I really like. Pretty much anything by Scorsese. Tarantino, pretty much all his movies. If you haven't seen any of those, these are all really obvious though. And everything else I'm thinking was like is sci-fi esque or comic book esque. Wait, something else? No, that also doesn't count. I'm gonna continue thinking about it. What are my thoughts on the Phase 4 of the MCU? Well, uh, oh man, uh, honestly, with the MCU Phase 4, I think this guy is the only guy I really care about. Like, I'm interested. I really like the two Spider-Man movies a lot. I'm interested in seeing what they do with Spider-Man, and I'm kind of interested in that Doctor Strange movie because I think I might have like some Lovecraftian stuff in there. But yeah, I think it's kind of what everybody's feeling, man. The MCU has done such a great job. Marvel's done such a fantastic job with their movies overall that I feel like we're just going to get to that point where, like, in a way, it's kind of the end of an era with a lot of those people that have been in the movie so long leaving. I think Phase 4 is really uncertain. I think we're going to enter a point where they're going to try new things and it might stumble a bit, because they're going to have to. I think we're going to stumble a bit until we can get X-Men and Fantastic Four in there. Because I think once they get into the Marvel formula, it's going to be colorful. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a whole new take on the X-Men that's going to be interesting and closer to the comics and in the MCU style and tone. I think it's going to be really cool because I love the 90s X-Men cartoon and just the classic 90s with Wolverine and yellow spandex and the bad blue costumes. Yes, we're making it happen. Let's do it. And the Fantastic Four movies might be really good. A Doctor Doom centric thing in the MCU would be awesome. So, like, I think when we get to that point when it's defined, I'm looking forward to those. But the stuff they got going on right now, I'm not really that interested in too many of the movies. I mean, I'm sure that they'll be fine. I was interested in the Black Widow movie. I'm kind of, it's unfortunate with everything that it got pushed back, but I'll admit I wasn't super excited for anything I heard about. And I'm like, hey, in a way, the chapter's kind of closed on it for now for me. So we'll see. Like, we'll see, man. Could I review more Chris Evans comic roles? I believe he has 8 of them. Chris Evans comic roles. Well, let's see. He was in the Captain America movies. He was in the Fantastic Four movies. I think Snowpiercer was based on a comic or a manga. Oh, and he was in Scott Pilgrim, wasn't he? He was the one ex-boyfriend. That's like 7. I'll have to check into that. But yeah, Chris Evans has been in a lot of comic book stuff. Wonder if that's because he likes it or not. Hey, Joggin, thanks for sticking around, man. Hey, yeah, we're doing a kind of a Q&A thing right now. I was talking about like history of my channel, reflection, ranting about stuff. You know how it is. So yeah, send in questions, man. I'll get to you. I know there's a bunch of questions, but I was kind of ranting for a bit there. What series do I like every side character? I think I said this recently. My Hero Academia, I really like the side characters a lot. I think that's the only one I've been able to say where like I like pretty much all of them, even the ones that I don't know that well at all. Like I really liked the side characters in that anime, like how it's been established. That's just been really cool. Let me see. What Yu Yu Hakusho prequel stories would you want to be made? I'd like to learn a little bit more about Genkai and Tagoro's relationship. I think Genkai training as a young spirit detective herself would be pretty cool, actually. That would probably be the main one. But I don't really know if I don't know if I'd ever want to see that many prequels for Yu Yu Hakusho, but I would love to see a sequel. I would love to see like a Yusuke's grown up. He hasn't really put all that stuff behind him, and then he gets called because there's a crisis and maybe somebody's trying to kill him like, oh, they've heard about the legendary spirit detective, like it's been foretold he's been a problem, and like some demon guy sends some assassins out and there, and he has to be like retrained and rediscover his power. Like I'd love to see like a sequel to Yu Yu Hakusho. uh Not a remake, but like a sequel spinoff. That would be cool. But the prequel, I don't really care about a prequel though too much. uh a Wonder Woman into Hunter x Hunter? I don't know. I feel like she would just work well as like a random adventurer person they could come across, honestly. Cavill as Sherlock Holmes, do you believe? Is that happening? Really? Henry Cavill is Sherlock Holmes? I'd totally watch that if that was the case. He's a good actor. I think he got a bit stifled a little bit in some of those DC movies. Um, let's see. Kurama He story got animated. Did it? Did it? I don't know. Full story of Ryzen and Kurama's past. Yeah, that could be interesting. Is HBO Max worth the price? Kind of crazy coming in late. Oh no. My buddy Dan over Dan Reviews It did a video about it. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. Like I'll tell you what. Like I had HBO for a little while, and we had it mostly for Game of Thrones. And after Game of Thrones, man, I stopped it. I don't even have HBO right now, so I don't care. I've got Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Crunchyroll, Funimation. So I've got like 5 streaming services. I think that's enough. Like I don't want to pay for HBO too. I didn't even pay for CBS All Access. I didn't care about the Star Trek shows that much because I didn't like what was on there enough to pay for it. I mean, I got too many as is. So HBO Max, from what I understand, there's going to be some exclusive things, but like I don't think it's a. If you already have HBO, I don't think it's like a big like difference in price, but I'm not really sure. Let's see. A prequel on Sensui's full life during his days as a spirit detective and after how he learned. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, a prequel on Sensui's life would be interesting. But I think we already kind of got enough. I don't know if we really need to explore Sensui. I think that exploring Sensui's character as a whole, though, like in the anime, I think he had these different personalities. I kind of wish we'd gotten to see more of them. They were hinted at, so I don't know. I don't know if a prequel for that would work. Yomi and Moroku came into power as the king's demons would be cool. Hiei's father. Yeah, there's some interesting ideas there. Penge's Smiggle. Nice, man. Have you ever played Merlin's Revenge? No, I have not. What? I'm going to look it up now. What is Merlin's Revenge? I know there's like one of the worst movies ever made. It's like Merlin's Dungeon or something. Merlin's Revenge. What is this? Merlin's Revenge. A family roller coaster from Vacom. Wait, what? It's some kind of old school video game? Wait, what is this? I don't even know what this is. No, it's an amusement park thing. Merlin's Revenge. I'm gonna type in Merlin's Revenge game. It's like there's photos and then there's like what it actually says here. Game. It's like some kind of strategy game or something. I don't know. It's a free online game. No, I've never played it. Any good? uh, okay. Let's see. I would like to see more slasher flick reviews. Phantasm and Evil Dead, for example. Ooh, Himukin, thank you. Well, I actually just saw Evil Dead 1 for the first time not too long ago, and I really liked Evil Dead. Evil Dead, it's funny, I was exposed to Evil Dead 2 first, and I remember Evil Dead 2 I didn't appreciate for a long time because that's all I saw, and my one buddy would bring it over all the time, like it was really cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. There's some really cool shots. Like, as somebody who's tried to make some of his own movies, like I really admire Sam Raimi a lot. Like for being somebody with limited budget, just working with his friends on a location, like down in the mountains somewhere for like a couple weeks, and like just the different techniques he had to use, like those long crane shots going in with the zoom ins. Like as a filmmaker with editing and camera work and lighting and just it's the special effects. Like as a low budget filmmaker, I really admire Sam Raimi. And Evil Dead 2, though, I didn't quite get the satire, the over the top nature. That kind of annoyed me. I don't know why. I appreciate it more now, a lot more now. But seeing the original Evil Dead, I really thought it was a genuinely creepy, well made horror movie. And I feel like it's gotten overshadowed by Evil Dead 2 a little bit. And I've never actually seen Army of Darkness in full, so I'll keep that in mind. Phantasm, though, Phantasm. Thank you for bringing that up, because I will tell you what, Phantasm is my favorite like monster slasher movie series. Like I love the Phantasm movies. I don't know why. I probably have to do movie reviews talking about it at some point. I was supposed to do a podcast with my buddy Justin. That just hasn't happened. Talking about it for years, but I'll probably just do some individual, that's on the list. I'll put that on the list then. Phantasm's got to get up there at some point. But yeah, Phantasm is just a really good atmospheric horror piece. And I find the lore and mystery of the tall man really interesting. Yeah, I love Phantasm. It's the only one where I really can say I love all the sequels. Like I mean, I only admit I watched like all of them like once, like years ago. So I don't know how they would all hold up, but I really love the Phantasm movies a lot, and I would love to do videos about them. So thank you. I will put that in the recommendations. Them and Evil Dead for sure. We'll get some videos for you. Hemokim Gaming, man. Good to talk to you, man. Discussions on horror movie topics. Okay, any specific topics you'd like to see? Yeah, but more horror movie stuff. Yeah, because I know that I do a lot of like sci-fi. Sci-fi is kind of my main thing. My main movie interest is science fiction. Believe it or not, despite my name, fantasy not so much. I've only been getting more into traditional fantasy stuff more recently, like kind of like rereading Lord of the Rings and stuff. So I like fantasy, but I've always been more of a sci-fi guy. And horror, I'm not like a hardcore horror person, but there are a lot of like classic horror movies that I just appreciate. And some of my favorite movies are horror movies, like The Thing, obviously. That's more sci-fi horror, but like there are some I really admire. Like John Carpenter is one of my favorite directors, for instance. Amazon and Google are seeing how hard video gaming making can be. Oh, are they making video games? They're making video games too. Doesn't surprise me. That's another project. One of my many projects I'd like to try and do is I've actually been considering getting into RPG Maker. I wanted to kind of try to make a little old school JRPG, and because I'll be honest, I'm not a super technical person when it comes to coding. I think I don't know if I have the mind for it, and I get frustrated. But like I don't know. I've always kind of wanted to do like make a little video game, and I just want to try and do that. So if anybody knows what good software to do that is, I'd like to make a little JRPG sometime. Demon Slayer Route 4 and review that. Wait. Oh, I moved down a bit more. Hold on. Oh man, I got some inappropriate comments here, but I'll come down to it in a second. Oh man, you guys really put the questions in. Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's see here. Demon Slayer. I heard some people told me Demon Slayer was good. I haven't watched Demon Slayer. I haven't watched Goblin Slayer. I may watch them at some point. I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll watch an episode or two and do some first impressions videos or something. But we'll see. Like I said, I got so many things I want to watch and do. It's just like, but okay. Demon Slayer. I will check that out. Boku no Pico. I feel like I did watch that at one point, but I totally forget. More anime recommendations, please. Okay, but I feel like if I do anime recommendations, it's just going to be a lot of my favorites, classic old ones you probably already know about. But I'll try and recommend more stuff to you guys. Let's see. Is it view on stuff blinded by nostalgia? I mean, well, nostalgia is always a factor when you're looking at things. Mr. Salsa. I would like to see original users of sacred energy being explored and how it did turn to spirit energy. Okay. What's your opinion on Next Mutation? Is that the what Ninja Turtles? Or if it's Ninja Turtles, I don't think I liked it very much. I think there's another comic book line that was like that might be X-Men related. Correct me. If it's the Ninja Turtles show, I was not a fan of it even as a kid. City Hunter, I've never actually seen City Hunter. That's one of those classic old school ones I need to watch, which interests me more. More into Goron Kenkai. Yep. I feel like when Goku returned, Toriyama cursed Gohan's fate. Yeah, pretty much. It was like, no, Gohan's taking the reins again. Boo was the best arc and the darkest. I don't know about that, man. I don't know, or woman or lady person. I blazing fingers. uh, uh, the dark, the best arc and darkest arc. Uh, I guess everybody did get killed, and technically the stakes were never higher. But Boo was such a comedic arc. I mean, if the best arc, I don't know if it structurally was the best story wise, or thematically, or character wise. But at the end of the day, that's all opinion. If you think it's the best arc, your favorite arc, that's fine. But the darkest arc, I don't think so. I mean, Boo was a super comedic villain. I mean, Frieza was darker, Cell was darker. I'd argue even like the Saiyans coming was darker because it was that everybody's getting destroyed. Boo, no, that Boo. I don't think it was the darkest arc, even with the darkest moments possibly. But Boo was a joke villain though. He was a comedic villain. Like, no, I don't know about that. Wait, well, that's the way it's always been. Drama always gets the highest views. That's one thing I have mostly. I try to resort to staying out of that stuff. I mean, because the thing about drama might get you views and get people talking, but it burns out so fast. It's like anything else. If you were looking at it purely from that perspective, who's the drama with? I wouldn't even know. Like, I don't even know. Like, anytime I think there might be drama with somebody, it's like a misperception anyway. And I don't really like anybody that I was cool with on YouTube. I think I'm still pretty cool with, or I just haven't talked to in a long time. I'm not involved in any drama that I know of, so I'm cool with that. So in that sense, my channel is mostly drama free. I try to keep it that way. Um, Message is getting held for review. Blazing Fingers said that Gohan was a blank. He called Gohan a bad name. Gohan, I don't think Gohan was that way. Gohan wasn't. Gohan was afraid, and he showed that. But he plowed through that. That's kind of what made Gohan and Krillin and a lot of those characters great. Is that it wasn't easy for them. They had to struggle, and when they went up against Frieza, like, that was terrifying, that situation. And Gohan was also like what, 5 or 6 at the time, so like, no, I maybe he wasn't like a stereotypically macho, but that's one of the things about his character that made him so interesting. He was more believable. I think that's why a lot of kids related to him. I mean, Gohan's one of the most popular characters in the show for that reason. I think maybe not as popular as Goku or Vegeta ever, but Gohan's got his fans, and I'm a pretty big Gohan fan. Though my favorite characters have changed a bit over the years. I would say back in the day, Vegeta probably was my favorite. Uh, Goku, I've gone back and forth on. Honestly, I appreciate his character more in some ways. In other ways, I'm a little more annoyed with it. Always thought Piccolo was great. Piccolo is up there. He just looks awesome. He is awesome. Krillin's also been fantastic. Fantastic character. Probably still my favorite character is Krillin. But I also like Tien. I like most of the cast. Somebody asked earlier a show where I like most of the supporting characters. I like just about every character in Dragon Ball. Honestly, I love Bulma, Chi-Chi. They're great. Who are your favorite characters in Dragon Ball, guys? If you have them, seriously. But yeah, Gohan's up there. I don't think I think he came off as afraid a lot of the time, but that was fine. You feel like trying to rep everything, you don't rep anything. Oh, like trying to represent. Yeah, trying to represent like different content. Like, yeah, I know if I kept it focused on one or two things, that's fine. But I like to talk about so many things. So I guess things are always kept interesting. What are you talking about? Yeah. I don't need to be a mean argument, guys, but yeah, I kind of disagree with that perception of Gohan. You could also do character reviews for video games. Yeah, I've thought about that. The thing is, I would have to do it for games that I know pretty well. And I was pretty much just a guy that, like, other than the handful of like greatest hits games on the PS2, I feel like there aren't too many games that I know well enough to do super in depth in a character analysis of. I mean, I like Agent 47 is an interesting character to me. I'm just trying to think of some other ones. I'm sort of drawing a blank because I liked a lot of like just action stuff back then. Yeah, I don't know if there'd be many good games I could do that would be worthy of that, because ironically, I don't think I played that many games that were that rich in the story. I'm getting more into that now with like maybe like Final Fantasy or something that might be more interesting. But yeah, maybe if I got more into some games and I played more of them, I'd feel more confident. But video games I've been playing mostly just kind of like I've never been like the most hardcore gamer, but playing video games lately has been kind of something relaxing and fun for me that's like mostly not YouTube related. And I think it's good to kind of have that. So I don't know. We'll see. It's about the Smash since they're focusing on celebrating gaming instead of their own IPs, especially titles. Yeah, I suppose. It depends on the game. Sometimes the side quests in games are the most interesting, to be honest, but it depends on the game. A lot of times, like I know in Elder Scrolls, a lot of people like the guild quests and stuff more than the main quests. Like I've been playing Oblivion, and I recently finished the main quest, and a lot of people hate on the main quest in Oblivion, and I like it. I mean, I didn't close every single Oblivion gate because yeah, that would be repetitive, and I know some people are completionists, but I'm like, you don't have to do that though. Like you just go do the main quest stuff and you're fine. Like, go to the Oblivion a couple times and you're all right. I liked the main quest, but so far I have been liking the Dark Brotherhood stuff the most, and I'm gonna check out some of the expansions. Like I will admit, I think that stuff's more interesting, but like in that sense, I think that most people would say in the Elder Scrolls the side quests are more interesting. But I think that's the case with a lot of games. But I think something like Mass Effect, the main story was really interesting. So there's that. Uh, Crazy how Mortal Kombat got no sales in Japan. They still do well. Yeah, Mortal Kombat blew up over here back in the day. I think we were the ones that were super enamored by the hardcore violence and stuff. And Mortal Kombat still has a great fan base for that, I guess. I know the recent game came out. People are talking about the RoboCop DLC, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I, it's funny. I love the Mortal Kombat movie from the '90s. It's actually sort of like it'll probably be on Jolo's movies at some point. It's like one of my sort of like I want to say it's like a guilty pleasure of mine, but I think that for what it is, it's a pretty fun, entertaining movie. I really do. Mortal Kombat Annihilation, maybe not so much, different kind, but like I don't think it's a guilty pleasure, but that's the thing. Beyond that and playing some of the games a little bit back in the day, that's like my only real direct connection to Mortal Kombat. So I kind of appreciate it generally, but I am a super casual fan. Though I'm a big fan of the original movie, which may be kind of weird. I don't know. Let's see. Dark Side stories that you want to see live action. Dude, I just want to see Dark Side live action done well. Like, it's such a strange thing to be a DC fan because, you know, Darkseid came first. He's legendary, as a great villain, right? And Thanos was made, from what I understand, to copy off of Darkseid's aesthetic. Is a very similar character in his look and his goals and everything. But it's a great example of what MCU does well. Before those movies came out, most people didn't know who Thanos was. Remember at the end of the first Avengers movie, a lot of people were like, who is the guy at the end of Avengers? He was so obscure, like outside of comics, just like Iron Man, Thor, Cap. They weren't that big. And now they're some of the biggest IPs ever. Thanos is considered like one of the greatest film villains of all time. And, he was very well done. Excellent motion capture, animation. And Josh Brolin did a fantastic job voicing him. Like, really good character, really complex, interesting villain. Best villain in the MCU. I mean, I love the Vulture personally, and there were a couple other good ones, Loki, but I think Thanos has superseded him. He's after a lot of MCU movies having kind of lackluster villains, Thanos was such a good one. But Darkseid, I don't know how many years it's going to be before we get like Darkseid done competently. I really don't know, but it's just kind of funny how that worked out. But I would just love to see. I'd love to see Darkseid. Excuse me. I'd love to see Darkseid come up at some point. Sonic movie getting a sequel? Yeah, man. Yeah, I liked the Sonic movie. I really did. I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed Sonic as a kid. Once again, I'm not like a hardcore Sonic fan, but I like Sonic. I appreciate Sonic. I liked the old school games for the Sega Dreamcast. I loved the Sonic Sat AM cartoon when I was a kid. So I read some of the comics. I like Sonic. I'm a Sonic fan. So I enjoyed the movie. I liked the references. I thought it was fun. I thought it was solid, good movie. Probably the best video game movie now that I think about it. Like, I still think I like the Mortal Kombat one more. But the Sonic one technically is probably a better movie. And I think it sets the bar, though it's not fantastic. And with, so many great video games having fantastic stories, I don't know why the transference has been so difficult. But once again, video games, I guess, weren't taken seriously till recently. Let's see. My only interest in the MCU right now is whenever they bring back Punisher, Daredevil, or the X-Men. Are those your favorite characters? Yeah, because Punisher, Punisher, I didn't really like that much overall. Like I liked the 2004 or 5 film with John Travolta as the bad guy. That was actually pretty good. I kind of like the character. I could read some of his stuff once in a while. I liked him as like a side character, but I was never huge into the Punisher. Daredevil is actually one of my favorite comic book heroes, though, and of course X Men's great. But I'd love to see. I'm really excited for when the X Men come to the MCU. I think that's going to be really awesome. Oh, we did an hour! Yay! Okay, MCU can catch lightning. Oh, you don't think they can catch lightning in a bottle twice? Well, I guess you could argue they caught lightning. I mean, I guess the whole thing could be lightning in a bottle, but I mean, they had so many great runs. Like, I don't think, I really don't think that the MCU yet has produced a movie that I would say is legitimately bad or a movie that I've really greatly disliked. There are some that I think are a little more forgettable and have problems in retrospect, but most of them have been really good. Some of them awesome. Really, I really think they've come a long way, and they've had far more hits than misses, and it's kind of amazing. But yeah, I think that it's going to take a while to build up that momentum. You got to have a couple bad movies in there. You got to have a few. Not that I'm saying I want them to fail, but it's like it's got to happen at some point. Best Tagashi villain out of Sensui, Toguro, Miriam, Crollo, and Hisoka. Bringing out the old school Tagashi questions again. The best. I'm going to try to be less biased about this. My favorite is Elder Toguro for sure. Everyone kind of knows that, I think. Miriam was really interesting. Crollo, I still think is a little underdeveloped, though he's really cool. He's got the cheating book thing. I still think we got to see more of him, though potentially interesting. So it's probably between, do I think Toguro is the best written? Toguro is probably the best written. Maybe Sensui is a little better because they went into the whole shattering of his view, but I feel like a lot of the elements of Sensui's character were kind of repeated after Toguro. Like if you notice thematically, character-wise, those arcs are very similar in terms of what the villains believed and how they changed. So I kind of always felt like, I think Hiro and I talked about this once, that Sensui really was just kind of Toguro again, just in a different lens. So I think Toguro, I'm going to say, is a little better. But Hisoka, I really love Hisoka. I think Hisoka is a fascinating, interesting, creepy villain. I think that what happened with Going in the Woods heavily implied that was some creepy child molestation thing there. I mean, they don't really go there in anime, especially shonen. Well, I guess in anime they do sometimes, but in a shonen show, like Hisoka's creepy, man. Hisoka's got a really weird. He wants to like see the build going up to eventually bring him down. I think he's interesting, but once again, I think in terms of writing, oh, probably Toguro. Miriam was really interesting too. I mean, they're all good. I think Crollo is probably the most underdeveloped so far, though. Would help if Hunter x Hunter was closer to being done, but we'll see. Hiei and Kurama story to get OVA. Oh yeah, I did hear about the OVA, but I never checked it out. I did. As another OVA, Team Urameshi do reunite as well. Seems like the DB lends itself best as a fighting anime game over most anime. Yeah, I heard Fighter Z was really good. It's certainly been made into a fighting game more. I kind of, if I was going to do video game retrospectives, I was kind of thinking about doing some Dragon Ball ones, or actually, if I could, they're kind of pricey, but I was thinking about checking out a couple of the Full Metal Alchemist games from PS2 that came out and doing those as a Let's Play walkthrough or something, because I've never played them. And I'm like, as a Full Metal Alchemist fan, I guess I'm curious. I've heard they're decent. They're like action RPGs or something. Just curious about those. I think is there a Hakusho fighting game? I think there is. Marvel hasn't done as well for whatever reason. Yeah, Hakusho does have a lot of lore unexplored. Wow, I moved down again. Okay, I'm trying to find the wait. Well, it's like there were a lot of comments. I'm getting to them. Wait. How? Wow. Okay, scroll up. Okay. Thoughts on Inuyasha spin-off series you want back in a way? Cool. Any just spinoff I'm interested in. I don't know if it really is necessary, but I might check it out just out of posterity. Um, Probably I could see that happening. You planning on trying Ju- Jujutsu Kaisen? I haven't even heard of that. What's that about? How would you fit Black Widow into Hunter x Hunter as being part of the Zoldyck family? Yeah, her being an assassin for the Zoldycks would work pretty well. I could see her totally being like an elder sister or relative of Killua. The whole evil assassin family would work. Is Batman's real enemy death? I don't know. You might be on good terms with them. Saddest moment in Hunter x Hunter? I mean, it's been a while since I watched it. I think I want to say when Karapika talks about what happened to his village, his family, I remember some of the speeches about that were pretty sad. Hunter x Hunter had a couple teary moments where like they were like thinking about breaking up as a group and stayed together. I don't remember like there were some pretty teary moments. I think that's probably the one that stands out to me, but I will admit it's been a while since I've watched it. Don't shoot me. I've never watched a Studio Ghibli film. Oh, oh no, man. It's okay. I shouldn't. I maybe I overreacted a little bit, dude. All right. Well, it seems like there's okay. I don't there. Maybe you guys can explain this to me. It seems like online, there's like this sort of a divide between the anime fandom. It seems like there is a lot of people on here who watch a lot of series, watch a lot of long running series, they're shonen or whatever, action shows like Naruto, Bleach, whatever. And they've even watched a lot of other series, but when it comes to watching anime movies, it's like considered like this whole different thing, and like it's not like they're just anime, but as films. Like, and there are a lot of really great anime films out there that it's like people don't want to check out. I don't know if people don't like trying to consume that, but it's weird too. Like, there's a lot of people that like a lot of anime series, but they won't touch Miyazaki, or they're weirded out by Miyazaki. Like, it's all I don't know if it's like considered like cliche, or people are just like his style is so different, so unique, or maybe I feel like there's almost a lot of people that don't like it, or they're afraid to say they don't like it because see, I like to try to be well rounded and appreciate a lot of things. Like, I like a lot of different anime series, but I love Hayao Miyazaki, like as an anime person, but just as somebody that loves film and animation. Like, they're beautiful. There's some just amazing, they're good, heartwarming stories. They're just beautiful to look at. I mean, they are. I mean, I know it might not always be your cup of tea, but just I think if you like anime or just film, like just I think you got to check out a couple like you know Princess Mononoke is one of my favorite films. And Spirited Away is really good, and Castle in the Sky, and Kiki's Delivery Service is like one of the nicest things ever to watch. I mean, there's such heartwarming good stuff. Like hardcore recommend you check out a couple Studio Ghibli films, man. A couple Miyazaki films. Give them a watch at least once. I'd be surprised if you didn't come away from some of them liking something about it. They're just, even if you looked at it from a purely technical standpoint, they're just fantastic thing. They're beautiful, beautiful films. Definitely, dude, just go for it. Watch a Miyazaki film, please, please do. See, time for Frieza in his pop backstory, since they want to mess everything up. For time for Frieza to pop back story. I think what you mean to say is time for Frieza to leave again. Because yeah, Frieza's gotten a lot of. I think Frieza's more popular just because he's there more. There was a time when Frieza and Cell were like neck and neck, popularity terms. They were. It was like Frieza or Cell, Frieza or Cell. I've always really liked Cell. Always liked the Cell arc, this whole thing. But like Frieza, it was always neck and neck. Now that Frieza's gotten a lot more exposure, now that he's in Super, now everyone's like, oh, he's better. I'm like, that sucks, because I think it's just because there's more content. It's because there's more content with Frieza. So I like Frieza. I'm kind of glad Frieza's back, but I'm like, they brought him back. Then they brought him back to get killed by Trunks. Then they brought him back again in Super. And it's just like, Frieza's evil. Like, why is this happening? I mean, it's a great fan service, but like, okay, if you're gonna do that, where's Cell? And Cell, now nobody cares about Cell. I mean, people like this. Cell's gotten so overshadowed. I think Dragon Ball Z Abridged kind of gave Cell another great hurrah, but man, man, Frieza, ah, not hating on Frieza, but yeah, I think we could come up with some new interesting villains. Would be great instead of constantly just doing the old ones. I mean, I know I love it, everybody loves it, but it's like it's just Frieza again and again and again. Oh man, the world is like Arkham City right now. I don't know if it's quite that bad, but yeah, man, it's a tough time, but it's there have been a lot of issues in our society that we're constantly working on, and it's not perfect. And in particular, with racism and civil rights issues and all those things, like it's bad. The violence is terrible, and people are in uproar about it. But I think the good thing about it is, people are being active and they're having the conversation. They're letting their voices and frustration out. They're saying things need to be addressed. There are problems that are still major issues, needs to be addressed, needs to be worked on, needs to be changed. And as a society, we need to look at ourselves harder and say, hey, we can do better. Let's try to move beyond some of this stuff. Work together. It's a slow process, and it's a good thing that people are talking about it, and we're getting it out there and beginning to change. So it's like it's difficult, but I think we're just seeing more awareness of it instead of just ignoring it, which is something that we have to do first. So yeah, I Arkham City bad. I hope not. Arkham City is also one of my favorite video games. Loved Arkham City, but yeah, Arkham City would be rough to live in. Let's try to not make it that bad if possible. I guess. How do I see Hunter x Hunter ending? Um, to be honest, I've got this feeling that there's probably going to be some kind of massive battle royale with like some group of people. Gon's going to have to train again, some kind of massive power up. And I have a feeling it's going to leave off with a cliffhanger where he's just going to like continue being the best hunter. I think it's going to end with some big fight, and then they're going to go their separate ways, having accomplished their goals. I think Leroy wanted to be a doctor or something, and they'll Kurapika will probably say, "All right, I've gotten revenge, or I've decided not to take revenge." I wonder if Kahlua will probably go with Gon, but I guess it depends on the direction they take. I don't know, something like that. But I think he'll just continue being a hunter and being the best, or he'd just be like, I'm done with it. I'll settle down and have a family. I don't know, time skip, whatever. Let's see. Hasn't really been a manly villain in DB, right? Hero has these videos, his whole the manly stuff, the machismo, traditional masculine and hyper masculine ideal. You mean something like that, like a North Star Dio from JoJo sort of thing, like a Togoro, like manly, a lot of muscles and. I mean, I think there have been, but I don't know if there have been main ones. Like, I mean, I think we've had elements of it, like henchmen usually, like Nappa or Raccoon, are kind of like that. Yeah, I guess the interesting thing about, I guess you could say Vegeta kind of was. He's pretty machismo, manly, but not in the. But I guess he's a little more nuanced. He's also has the smaller build. I mean, Dragon Ball has the beefier characters in terms of the muscle designs. But it's interesting. I think the best villains, the most popular villains anyway, like Frieza and Cell, are more like, I guess, effeminate in a weird way. They're not like overly masculine. So that's interesting. They're more soft spoken. So I think that's an interesting point. I guess not. How would you have done Three Kings Saga if Hakusho was in the War of Demons World Avengers Endgame style ending? dude, just a big war with lots of people clashing, reinforce. I would just do the same thing, essentially. I mean, why not, right? Do it in that style. I wonder if I'm catching up on these questions yet. Something else that's popular now is making tier lists for anything. That's always been popular, ranking things, top tens. I could do that, but I might do some of that, but that just feels so lame, so cheap to do that. I mean, I don't know. I like making lists, so it's like I could, but I don't. I'll probably do some. I might do like my top 10 Samurai Jack something or other, maybe. Um, did I hear that they're giving DC Superman a side character role like Hulk? Uh, Honestly, I would love to see more Superman movies, to be completely honest. I'd love to see Henry Cavill. I think I heard news he's coming back again or something, but seeing, I guess, having him kind of be like in the major Justice League movies but not get any of his own. I mean, as long as they can have fun and flesh out the character and give him some good moments and maybe little arcs in the movies, I guess that could be fine, but in terms of like in terms of just having him regulated to the Justice League movies, I don't know if I'd want to do just that. I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to do just that, to be completely honest. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. There's a game called Scorn that's going to be for Xbox Series X and PC. Basically, H.R. Geiger, the video game, blend of surrealism and sci-fi. Highly recommend it. I guess I'd have to get an Xbox X, and I don't know if my PC can run it because my PC is my I got like an HP from 2012. I got the hard drive replaced recently, like a year ago. So I think I don't. Well, I'll just put it this way. I can run Skyrim, like old school Skyrim, pretty good on it, but not heavily modded or anything. I tried to run what killed my computer the last time was I tried to play Hitman 2, the one from a couple years ago, not the original one, but the new one. Computer died. So if it's that advanced, I probably can't run it. That might be one I have to play down the line. If I'm going to do video game reviews, Zoro actually recommended Twitch. I might do some game reviews on Twitch, but I probably have to stick with like maybe some Xbox games, Xbox One games, maybe some classic Xbox games because that's just mostly what I could stream to. I could do some stuff on the PS4, but like I have to go downstairs. So I think I'll do more like Xbox related games that either I haven't played, just or stuff that I have played, but mostly stuff regulated to Xbox right now, Xbox One and back. If I do PlayStation stuff, it might be through YouTube once in a while. But if it's a newer game, I'd love to do some more like walkthrough stuff through my PC because I've actually been playing a lot of stuff on Steam, but I don't know if it could run something that new. Like if it's a new game for PC, I probably can't handle it. I'd probably have to get like a new computer for that, which I might do at some point, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not that hardcore yet. I'd rather just like play some older classic games I haven't played or some stuff I played before or stuff that's like semi new, like if it's come out within the last couple of years, maybe I'd play it. But yeah, so if you have recommendations for stuff like that that's like classic or semi new, I'll let you know. But I'll keep that in mind though. From the looks of it, Wonder Woman will be the main character of DCU going forward. Hey, I'm fine with that too, man. I think her first movie was great. I'm looking forward to her second one. Yeah, her being, because it was the most successful movie and the most fun, it makes sense for her to be the centerpiece. Which female character in DB deserves more fights besides 18? You took 18 because she's easy. I really would have liked to have seen Chi-Chi more in action early on, and if like she had trained and stuck with it, how far she could go, because she's got the comedic power of being more powerful than Goku sometimes. So I'd be curious because I think the rage thing comes from her. I think Gohan gets the rage from his mom. I know Goku had the Super Saiyan moment, but Goku's typically more fun and chill. Chi-Chi's got the rage, and I think Gohan gets it from there. So Chi-Chi, seeing her get more discipline, training with her dad in the early tournaments and testing it further, I would be curious. I know that's not really her thing. I love Chi-Chi. I need to do a video about her. I think Chi-Chi is a fantastic character, actually. Yeah, that's something I got to do. I got to do a Chi-Chi video, but Chi-Chi is a fantastic character. But I would have loved to seen her do more fighting. Videl would also be cool too, though I've got this. I don't know how powerful she'd really get. I'm trying to think. Are there any other major characters? Launch, I guess. Sadly there aren't too many female characters in Dragon Ball, and I wanted to do a video about that. Like there are some great characters, but there aren't that many. Great, like Bulma's a fantastic character. Like Bulma obviously is like the best character in the show. I mean the best female character, but not a combat person. So though seeing her fight with like giant robots and stuff might have been kind of cool. She probably could have gotten pretty far along with some of the stuff she invented. Let's see. Xbox Series has tons of horror stuff coming up. Rumored Silent Hill. Yeah, I played Silent Hill 2 a little bit back in the day. Very creepy. I don't know. I don't know how many horror games I tried to play that the old Call of Cthulhu game, which is hard. I've been stuck on. I know there's a new one that came out, and I'm like, I gotta play the other one first. Let's see. Better character, Yusuke or Gon? That classic debate. Well, Yusuke is finished. His story arc completed. I think he's a little less traditional than Gon is. I think Gon is a little more standard of a shonen character. He's a lot more like Goku, to be honest. I think there's a little more nuanced, maybe. He has to work for his power, which I kind of like with Deku, Midoriya. Like I like his character for that, but in terms of like his complexity, how interesting of a character he is, fleshed out, I think Yusuke is more fun because he's non-traditional. He's like, I'm just angry about the whole situation. He wasn't a really great person in the beginning, which is interesting to see him kind of grow based on that. So I'm going to say Yusuke. It's a little unfair because Gon's story is not really done, but I'd say Yusuke. All right, are we going? Finding stuff. Okay. What Marvel villains could have as much impact as Thanos from Mr. Green? Think only Doctor Doom if I want to see a Doctor Doom movie. There are some really good Marvel villains on that level. Doctor Doom's the obvious one. Galactus, if they could do him right, would be awesome. I feel like Kang the Conqueror could be interesting if he's done well. He'd be an interesting one. The thing is, I really like a lot of the villains that are more focused on one particular hero as opposed to like Avengers level threats. So I kind of want to see the Sinister Six. I want to see a lot of the X-Men villains again. Magneto, Apocalypse done a little better. Mr. Sinister is like one of my favorite Marvel villains, and we have yet to get anything. They hinted at him in one of the X-Men movies a while back and never happened. So I want Mr. Sinister, please. I've been waiting for Mr. Sinister for years. Just, come on, let's do this. Let's see. If there is a fight Goku didn't enjoy, is there a fight Goku didn't enjoy being a part of? I feel like that's a trick question because Goku loves to. It's weird. Goku loves to fight, but only a sport kind of. Goku's a strange person. Like, I don't know. Goku, sometimes he does like to fight and put things, almost like putting things on the line, like, letting villains live to challenge himself. Like, it's a flaw in his character, but it is frustrating. I think generally speaking, Goku doesn't like to kill people. He doesn't like to put things on the line that way, I think, but generally he loves to fight, though. He loves sparring. He loves the athletics of it. He likes testing himself, pushing himself. So I think generally, yeah, he loves the fights. He's Goku. Yes, I do have a Twitch channel. I want to make a video about it. I haven't done anything. I have a Twitch channel that I have some games. I'm just debating what I want to do with it. I have, it's Merlin Plays stuff. Feel free to follow me on there. I'm probably going to do some like Mega Man videos. You're going to watch me just fail at video games and get angry a lot. I don't know how many hardcore walkthroughs I'm going to do because I'm not very good at video games, but it might be entertaining to watch me talk and get angry. You'll see a lot of like and rage quitting and stuff. So I don't know how entertaining it'll be, but like I'm gonna stress I'm not a hardcore gamer. I'm not very good at them, but I do have a Twitch channel. Merlin plays stuff. Feel free to check it out. Uh, could you link your my anime list? Yeah, I'll put a link in there. I haven't used my anime list in a while though, and I don't know how accurate it is. Um, are Saiyans supposed to be more tanning because their colors change? Even Goku? I don't know. I remember GT, everybody was tan, but I don't think that might have just been a design choice. Let's see, tan-ish, Mediterranean, olive skinned, better character, Hiei or Killua? Killua, actually. I always found Killua a little more interesting than Hiei. Hiei, I like Hiei, but I don't know. I feel like he was one of those people, his arc got finished too early. Hiei is probably my least favorite of the main group. I mean, he's cool, but it's not as interesting, in my opinion. But Killua, I always thought was fascinating, coming from the family of assassins and whatnot. If a character has no flaw, can they still be great? Uh, tea. Finally having a drink, guys. You're getting me to that point. Well, for a character to be good, I think it depends on the story you're looking at and the purpose they serve in the story and what you want from that character and from the story, right? So, generally speaking, I like to, characters and storylines that make me think, that reflect things, and that are interesting. I like characters that have some depth, some complexity. Sure, but I don't think that a hero or a villain or any character necessarily has to be like flawless, like in terms of like writing or like as a person. I think flaws are more realistic because we all have them. We have to work on them. So I guess a great character probably has great flaws they have to overcome, work on, acknowledge. But in some stories, I mean, if a character is great, like a great heroic noble person, if it serves the story, it's fine. Like I said, it depends on what you're going for. Yeah, it can be fine. They can still be a great character even if they're flawless. I mean, they might not be as interesting, but for the depending on the story you're talking about, yeah, they could be fine. They could be fine, honestly. Let's see. Thoughts on shonen anime movies like the DBZ ones, Yu Hakusho, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, etc. Well, I'll be honest, when it comes to a lot of the shonen movies, I haven't seen a lot of them. I have seen all of the Dragon Ball Z movies and Dragon Ball movies. I have seen all the Inuyasha movies. I think that's it. I think I saw the North Star movie. But yeah, shonen movies, I like. That's the thing. I've never been like hardcore fan enough of. I saw the first Bleach movie, which I thought wasn't too bad, but I haven't. I have not seen any of the Naruto movies, any of the One Piece movies. I think My Hero Academia got a movie. I haven't seen any of them. I guess it's because I'm just not as big enough of a fan. Like, there's a lot of those anime I didn't see a lot of them, or it's been a long time. I'm not as invested, like especially if the stuff's not canon. If they're canon, I'd be more interesting. But which is funny, interested because it's funny I say that because a lot of the Dragon Ball movies are not canon. But back in the day when I was a kid, I didn't know or care about that much. But as far as the DBZ movies, I did like a ranking video. While they're fun, they're mostly just microcosms of the show. All for all its great strengths and flaws. If you want like a taste of what Dragon Ball Z is like, and you've never seen them, I'd say you could show them the movies as an intro for the taste. But then again, a lot of times they're just movies that are supposed to sort of take place sometime in the series or whatever. So if you don't know anything about the characters, you might be really lost. Like it's funny, you think that Dragon Ball isn't that complicated, but if you tried to show it to somebody that doesn't know anything about it, which I remember my buddy Dan, I showed him a couple random episodes, like in the Cell Saga, and he was like, "What is going on? What is this?" So if you don't know anything, maybe watching the movie is not a good idea, but I like most of them. Most of them are entertaining. I totally could do like I'm thinking about for Jolo's movies. I'll probably do all the DBZ movies again because I love most of them. I love, I should do more. Joe loves like different things, so it's whatever. But like, my favorite ones though, I loved. Wow, do I even remember the names? Oh, crud. Dead Zone. I like Dead Zone, World's Strongest, Tree of Might. I'm gonna list them all. Cooler's Revenge, Return of Cooler, uh, the Broly movie. I didn't really like the other Broly movies that much. Third one was interesting. I like the BoJack movie a lot. The Janemba one was okay. The one with uh, the one with Harudagan was interesting. The newer ones, I think, for Super have been better movies overall in terms of plot, presentation, for sure. They're probably some of the best. I really liked the Battle Gods a lot. I liked Resurrection F quite a lot, even though it's silly. It was pure fan service, but I loved it. Saw that in theaters. So I saw the last three in theaters now that I think about it. But yeah, the Broly one was actually pretty good too. So overall, I like them, I would say. Inuyasha movies were actually pretty good too for the most part, except for the last one, from what I remember. Think Kurapika might die? Possibly. I think that's a possible logical conclusion for his character. Oh, let me see. Hardest genre to get into, isekai or shoujo? I'm gotta lose some nerd points here. It's late, people. It's early in the morning, so yeah, I'm gonna probably go to sleep not too much longer. If you guys can like the video and share and spread it around, get some more comments going, maybe we can get going longer. But I'm gonna look this up because I'm like I think I know what that means, but I'm gotta double check. Isaki? This better not be something bad. Isekai? How do we pronounce that? Oh, like Ray Zero? That was a good show. Um, Light novels, manga, revolve around normal person, Earth being transported. Oh, okay. To a parallel universe. That's a specific genre, where shoujo is like a demographic thing. I mean, that's kind of like Inuyasha or Fushigi Yugi or one of those sort of shows, right? Or Escaflowne. Escaflowne is one of my favorites. Usually it's women, I think, female characters getting transported into like a fantasy world. Oh, yeah, I love that stuff. I like that stuff a lot. Escaflowne is like one of my favorite anime. I like that. It's a good way to have a character kind of be your introduction to the world. Like, ooh, what's this thing? I like that. That's a cool genre of anime. Shoujo in general. Shoujo is like it's like shonen. You know, it's a broad thing. I haven't really read or watched a lot of purely shoujo stuff. Um, I think a lot of like there are a lot of romance stuff is pretty good. A lot of drama stuff. I think a lot of magical girl stuff kind of like is ironically shonen typically, which I guess makes sense. I don't know, but Fruits Basket is the thing I've been watching the most lately with my girlfriend, and it's been, I guess that's shojo. It's like anything else. Look for recommendations on stuff that's like considered classics or highly rated. See if it strikes you, man. I mean, there's plenty of good shojo stuff out there. Absolutely. I'd say, you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't try to find all the different types of anime. Because I think if you really like what you like, that's fine. But that's the great thing about anime as a medium, is there's just so many different types of shows for different demographics and different genres and types of stories that their possibilities are endless. Honestly, for good stuff out there, right? And a lot of weird stuff and probably a lot of bad stuff too. But there's a lot of options. Let's see. Best non-battle shonen that isn't Death Note. Kenny, wait a minute. Okay, I was gonna say you know Fullmetal Alchemist, but you're right. Fullmetal Alchemist is. I think Fullmetal Alchemist is more of like an adventure show, fantasy, like it. But you're right. There is a lot of combat, especially Brotherhood. The manga is a little more battle focused. A shonen that's not Death Note. I'm gonna just double check here because I would totally have said Death Note. Very smart, very smart. There are not a lot of shonens that are like that. All right. You know what? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna see what this gives me. Maybe it'll surprise me because. Okay, let's see what Google gives me. Okay, well, man, a lot of these are battle stuff. Or they're things I haven't seen in a long time, or if that is one that I don't believe something that Speed Grapher is not a shonen. That's too dark. That's not true. This is a bad recommendation. Uh, I guess Escaflowne is technically shonen. That there is combat in that, but it's not like based around one-on-one fighting. It's so Escaflowne is probably my favorite, at least on here. I have not seen Psychopaths. Isn't shonen? Is it? No. Gurren Lagann. I need to watch again. I need to watch all of it actually. But I don't think that's the best. I guess Code Geass for writing, but I don't really like Code Geass that much. Dang it. I'm going to say Escaflowne. Uh, let's see. The most popular manly character to appear in Doomslayer. I don't know if have I seen Doomslayer? I don't know. I don't know if I know what that is. Tell me what that is. I don't think I don't know. Doomslayer? Like, is that an anime? I don't know if I've seen it. I probably haven't seen it. Scorn is a very powerful game, so it's best to get a Series X. It's got to be on Game Pass. Okay. Well, that might be something I'll have to check out. So yeah, PC can't handle that. Favorite DBZ movie non-super? Probably cool. Return of Cooler. Probably Return of Cooler or the BoJack Unbound. Probably. Master Chief is pretty manly. Yeah, he's pretty manly. Manly. Why do you like old Hunter x Hunter 90s over 2011? There isn't necessarily a reason where I could say the 2011 one is necessarily worse. I mean, I think in a lot of ways it's technically better, of course, but admittedly, I think actually I have a good answer for you. The reason I like the 99 Hunter x Hunter more is because I really like the atmosphere, emotional resonance with the show. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the soundtrack. The soundtrack to the 99 Hunter x Hunter is one of my favorite anime soundtracks. It's just really lovely music, very powerful. Hisoka's theme is intense. Kurapika's theme is fantastic, and the opening theme is really great. Um, yeah, just there's a lot of good themes, a lot of good music in there. It's one of my favorites. So I think it's the atmosphere of the show. I also just like the animation style. I even kind of like the old dub, honestly. Just the atmosphere, the feel of the show, the emotional connection I have with it. I just like the presentation. The 2011 one's good. It's flashier, and it's fine. But I don't know. I just prefer the style of the original a little more. It's kind of like a FMA 2003 versus Brotherhood. It's sort of along those lines. Though I personally like the '03 a little more for writing standpoint, but Master Chief is on the manly list. Yes, he is. If you were to write Black Widow coming back to life, how would I do it? Oh man, I don't know. I would just be like, it was a loophole. Red Skull has to like say, you can't be here anymore or something. I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't think I'd be that creative. I would say like it was a cheat or something because it doesn't really make a lot of sense anyway. I don't know. I'd always thought it was kind of a weird thing that they did anyway. But maybe Hawkeye would come and well, people like Hawkeye's family. I guess. Nah, I don't know. I don't know. How would you do it? How would I add Cooler into Super in the reboot? That's easy, man. I would just say he's always been there. Easy. Broly stopped using his brain and the stronger to get in the deep. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think that the one thing about Broly not being as much of a raging character is that he kind of became less intimidating, but he was a more fleshed out character instead of this momentous force. So I guess that was kind of a good thing. Let me see. Do you think there is an afterlife in the MCU like DBZ, Hakusho, Naruto? When there is a heaven and hell, do you think it should be a sport or would take away emotions? Um, I don't think it would take things away that much, to be completely honest. I think there's a lot of different realms they could probably explore. So I don't think it would necessarily be bad to do that. Is it crazy to say I'm starting to consider Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece veterans like DBZ and Hakusho back in the day, like 10 years ago? Yeah, man, that's just time for you. I guess those shows are kind of old news now. I mean, there's always like newer, flashier things. Those are considered classics, I guess, at this point, right? Especially, I guess One Piece is ongoing, but yeah, kind of. It's getting to that point. That's right. Black Widow is in the Soul Realm. All right. Well, I finally caught up with all the questions. Yeah, the big three are starting to feel kind of old. So yeah, wow, that was a long run. Whew, man, wow. Hero, anime hero popped in on the stream. Finished Star Trek Next Generation. Haven't seen the movies yet. Um, okay, hero. Well, quick. How did you feel about Next Gen overall? In comparison to TOS, and I'll tell you my feelings about the movies after that. Welcome. Doing a kind of a Q&A thing slash retrospective. I might do another video about this because I realized June 2nd was like the day I started this channel like 10 years ago. Crazy, right? Favorite Bleach character? Oh, that's easy. That's easy. Chad. I always loved Chad. You want to talk about manly? Yeah, Chad's definitely. I kind of wish once again he had more to do later, but Chad was always really cool. I liked Chad a lot, actually. Um, yeah, Chad, easy. Also, really liked Rukia too. Rukia was cool. Um, hey, that's fine. Next Gen is a more fleshed out show. It's got more nuances. That's fine, man. It's like Zoro, man. Like everybody likes Next Gen more. I'm sad. Yeah, no, it's fine. Next Gen's a great show though. It's really great writing. Do you have any favorite episodes or anything? You watched the whole thing. The movies, I guess I guess when it comes to the TOS and next gen comparison, it's like I told Zoro. I mean, TOS definitely has the better movies overall. There were 6 of them, and people generally agree that 4 of them are good. And I mean, I kind of like them all, but I know the first one's kind of slow and the 5th one's kind of ridiculous, but I think they're overall better films. The next gen, I don't think the next gen movies are terrible. Like I like all the Star Trek movies, I really do. But the next gen movies are probably not as good, especially now that you've seen the show. You'll probably notice, like, yeah, that there's some character stuff you might think is weird. I'm really curious to see what you feel like when you talk about the movies, but we'll have to talk to you about all that too, because um, I think next gen has one legitimately really good movie. The other ones are kind of, yeah, they're okay. But tell me how you feel about Generations, because that's the crossover movie with Kirk and Picard. So, really interested to hear your thoughts on that one. Um, are you going to watch DS9 though? Are you Star Trek'd out? Because Zorro just started DS9. And I told him that I think that's the best written show. That's my favorite, probably, of the Star Trek shows in terms of writing and everything. So I think you'd really like DS9 too. But it is quite different than TOS and Next Gen. There's less exploratory because they're on the station, but a lot of great character stuff. A long running story arc. You'd probably like that too, man. So yeah, let me know. My prediction is another Avengers universe. Avengers will be back in the Secret Wars movie. Yeah, possibly. Who do you think should be the next film whenever Justice movie comes in? Dark Side would probably be too obvious at this point. Starro the Conqueror, man. Let's do Starro. Let's do the giant starfish. Let's go. Serious. I want Starro the Conqueror. Let's go back to the original. Don't even care. Let's have fun with it. Giant starfish. You get a bunch of the little mind sucking ones too, like in Batman Beyond. Read this comic recently. I think it was The Totality. Troll recommended a couple. He let me borrow a couple of the more recent comics. He liked a bunch of crossover stuff, and they had to team up with a bunch of villains to save the universe. And Starro was one of them. He was so snarky. He was constantly like, "I'm the most intelligent being. I have to work with all these people." What was it? See if I can find it. See if I can find it. It's not justice. Talent. No. I don't know where. Wait. No. Don't know where it is at the moment, but it's around here somewhere. Let's see. Black Adam has to show up in the next Captain Marvel movie, I think. Yeah, Data has some great episodes. Picard being tortured. Oh yeah. How many lights are there, Hero? How many lights? Are there 5 lights, Hero? Are there 5 lights? Yeah, that's a really good one. When Picard gets captured, that's like one of the iconic scenes, man. That's a great one. That actor, too, shows up. If you recognize him, the guy that's torturing him, the Cardassian interrogator guy, he was in Star Trek V. He had a small role on the planet of intergalactic peace. He was the Federation representative, and he was Chancellor Gorkin. He was the Klingon leader that was assassinated in Star Trek VI. So that guy shows up in Trek sometimes. I like that actor a lot. He also voiced that mad scientist in Spider-Man the Animated Series, Landon, Dr. Landon, I believe. That was his voice. Let's see. Oh, you did see Generations. Oh, you didn't like the villain. You didn't like Malcolm McDowell. You didn't like, what didn't you like about the resolution? Did you like Kirk's death? Did you like how Picard just left him on some rocks? Didn't tell anybody about it, and how they just brought him back to jump, and yeah. I'm just thinking, you gotta have fun with the villains sometime. I'm just saying, let's go for it. Like, let's stop being dark and edgy all the time. Let's have the Justice League fight a giant starfish. Or, okay, you want a slightly better one? Despero. Let's have Despero come in, have some awesome psychic battles with Martian Manhunter. That would be awesome too. Oh, Star Trek continues with Vic Mignogna, man. Oh, those are so well done. Those are like the best fan things I've ever seen. They recreate the original series sets so well, and they're so good. Yo, the Star Trek continues is really good. They're really good, man. A lot of Funimation people worked on that. Didn't know there were so many Trek fans. Vulture, starfish. Favorite Star Wars villain? Well, I really like the Emperor, Palpatine, Sidious. He's up there. I like Darth Maul a lot. I'd say that Darth Sidious is probably my favorite villain in the films. But I also really like Grievous for some reason. I've always really liked General Grievous. I always liked his backstory. I read one Expanded Universe book about him too. I always thought he was pretty cool. Let's see. Better character, Goku or Superman? Better character. Superman. Superman's a better character. I think Goku's a great character. And the funny thing is, I'm probably more a Goku fan because I'm a fan of Dragon Ball more than I am of Superman as a character, Superman comics and stuff. Probably. But even though I really like the original Superman films and the animated series, like I really like Superman a lot, but like, it's kind of funny. I'm not a hardcore fan of either character exactly, but I would say I think Superman feels like a better character in a lot of ways. They've explored some really interesting things with him at the very least. DCU in a Batman movie? I'd probably just do the Red Hood, like the animated movie, make that live action. It's one of those things where the model's right there. Supergirl into DC with a limited role for Superman. She would play the Hulk role. I guess in that case, maybe she could get introduced in one of the Justice League movies and she could get her own movie. That could work, actually. All right, everybody. Well, it is 3 a.m. where I am. This was kind of impromptu, so I'm going to go for another 10 minutes. If you have any final questions or comments, suggestions, let me know. I'll try to answer a few more before I quit here, but I do have to go to sleep because I do have to work tomorrow. Essential personnel and whatnot, so I'm thankful for that. So yeah, I appreciate everybody dropping in. This actually got more feedback and people in it than I thought it was going to this time of night. I'm probably gonna do some more live streams and stuff. In addition to some other videos, I've got a lot of different things I'm randomly thinking about doing. Obviously, trying to do some more podcasts with people and stuff. So yeah, once again, any comments or suggestions for videos, types of content you'd like to see, let me know. I'm probably gonna might do a retrospective 10-year anniversary video coming up soon as well. Since I might as well do that. Why not? I got some Samurai Jack stuff planned. I got some movie requests. Dark Harvest is next one. Got RoboCop. Next Joe Loves Movies probably. Looks like the votes were in for that. I got some other movie requests. Castlevania I'll start watching soon. Check out my Twitch channel soon. Merlin Plays stuff. If you want to see me get angry at failing at video games. And hopefully getting some more people on from the Phantom Group and some podcasts. So a lot of stuff. I just did a video where Dan reviews it for a very timely, difficult film for Dan Does Disney. I haven't been on some of those videos, but I did participate in the Song of the South one. It was an interesting discussion. So check out his videos there. Check out Anime Hero. Check out Zoro's channel and Dead's channel, Von's channel. Definitely. Let me see. Try to do a few more questions here. Kurama or Gohan? Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know. Better. I want to say I'm all right. I kind of find Kurama's personality and backstory and his role in the group as like the calm tactician guy who has the dark side. I like that a lot. Kurama is one of my favorites. He and Korobara are like tied for me, but he's more static than Gohan is. I think Gohan's probably has more growth and more interesting things going on throughout the show, whereas Kurama stays mostly the same throughout it. So I kind of like Kurama more, but I want to say I think Gohan's a little better written in a lot of ways, more interesting stuff for his show. The parallels got pretty freaky. Yeah. Yeah, the Borg with the survivor Riker. No, you can't let me go back. Yeah, that was pretty dark. Yeah, it was pretty intense. I don't know how she'd interact with Gon. She'd probably think he was just a kid and shouldn't be participating, like, to be honest. And then she'd see what he could do, like Spider-Man. Like, whatever. Wonder Woman would probably be a little more cool with it because she's more of that warrior type, Amazonian. She'd probably be more cool with his spirit. Genkai or teacher from Brotherhood? That's another tough one. That's another really tough one. Probably teacher. Probably teacher from FMA. Brotherhood is a better character overall. Kind of explored some interesting ideas, themes, difficult concepts. But they're both kind of tough teachers. I kind of like Genkai a little more because she's kind of the angry old lady. But I like that sort of character, the grouchy older mentor woman type. I don't know. I really like the teacher. I haven't done a video for her. There's a bunch, like I said, there's a bunch of Fullmetal Alchemist characters I still got to do videos for. And teacher deserves one big time. She really does. Great character. Really tragic stuff though. Especially in '03, man. You know, Ugh. Kuwabara or Piccolo. Oh man, that you're being mean now. You're being mean now, man. Fucking mean. Let's apologize. Yukita, go on, I love you. My Piccolo's terrible. Can't do a Chris Sabat. I can't do it. I can do it with a Scott McNeil version better. Oh, his power level. Not power level. His power is too incredible. I've never felt something like this. Nothing like Goku. Gotta train the young one. I can kind of do Scott McNeil. I cannot do Chris Sabat to save my life. Kind of the gravelly. Over 9,000. I can do Brian Drummond's Vegeta a little more. Answer your question. That's fucking hard, man. That's hard. That's so hard, man. I don't know. That's mean. Piccolo. I'm going Piccolo. He's got the cape, man. Piccolo. Edward Elric or Aang. I like Edward better, but I might say Aang is a better character. Aang is pretty great. I kind of mad about the death battle, but it couldn't have gone any other way. 4 anime powers I'd want. Plasma energy beams is great all around. So ki blasts are great. I think Technoman is pretty cool. Transforming into like a robot guy. It's pretty awesome. I really like I really like some of the really random powers that they have in Hunter x Hunter. I mean, super strength's pretty great, I guess. I always kind of liked the I don't know, the power in Code Geass is pretty cool too, with the weird hypnotic stuff. There's a lot of interesting things. Spirit Stored's cool, slashing through dimensions. I'm gonna say Roy on that one, probably. Yeah. Well, with that, I'm gonna Q. Oh, wait. You couldn't stand Q, John Delancey. Oh, Q's like one of my favorite characters. I love the Q episodes. Why didn't you like Q? All right, before I leave, tell me why I didn't like Q. I love Q. You didn't like Q? Q is fantastic. I think he's hilarious. He's a lot of interesting conversations with Picard, about nature of humanity and whatnot. I mean, especially when he loses his powers, has to be human. Really? I think Q is an interesting character. He's like Mr. Mistleplick, except more interesting, that's a discussion. People generally like Q. He's a kind of a fan favorite among Star Trek fans, Next Gen fans. People tend to love Q generally. It's okay if you don't like him. I could see him being irritated. I think my buddy Justin didn't like Q very much, but I'm surprised, honestly. Tell me more about that, and then I'll go. Final comments, people. Wrapping up. Got to get some sleep. And then I promise there'll be more stuff coming, more live streams. But I'm waiting for Hero to respond because I'm curious why he doesn't like Q. I'll wait a few more minutes for it. So I'm waiting for you, Hero. Waiting for the anime hero, people. Zoro from One Piece. I like Zoro. Zoro's cool. I think he's an interesting character. I kind of always thought his backstory was one of the weaker ones. I mean, it's not bad, I guess, like wanting to kind of live up to somebody's expectation to meet a goal because they never could as a way of honoring them. It's cool. I guess it's a cool reason to want to be the best at something, but it's just, I don't know. I think he's a fun character. I like Zoro quite a bit. He's probably one of my favorites of the Straw Hats. Of course, I've always liked Usopp. I like that Krillin-esque character, but I really like Nami a lot, and I think Sanji's probably my favorite. Zoro and Sanji, I really like. I thought he was so selfish, attacking everybody at the most inappropriate times. He had a lot of power, but looks down on humans. Yeah, that's kind of his arc, though. He feels so much better in a lot of ways. So he's kind of petty. Kind of like the Greek gods. It's kind of that idea. Like kind of petty. Luffy is okay. Luffy is a fun character too. I don't have any problems with him, but he's very standard shonen character. But I don't think he should get that much hate. I think Luffy's fine. I think he's perfectly serviceable. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for all your questions and hanging out for as long as you did. I'm thinking I might do a part 2 to this at some point, maybe sometime this month. I got RoboCop video, possibly another Flamethrowers in Cinema. I got a couple movie requests from subscribers. You guys gave me some more ideas on here, podcasts, ideas. I've got my Twitch channel. I'm going to try and do stuff soon. Merlin Plays stuff. Check it out. Yeah, so got a lot of stuff going on. Let me know any ideas for things you want to see in the future. And we'll do some more cool stuff, hopefully. All right, everybody. Stay safe out there. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Stay magical.